What is fear? Well, we can say that fear is pure imagination. We're really only afraid or fearful of something that hasn't happened yet. See this clearly with your own experience. Whenever you're feeling fear about something that has yet to happen, something that may happen, may not happen. Whatever it is, it's always about the future. And what's the future? Something that has not happened yet. And what has not happened yet doesn't exist. So that's what I said. Fear is pure imagination. We're imagining something. And see, our imagination is so vivid, just like our memory, so vivid. It's so real. It's so lifelike. It makes us believe that it's real, this imagination. And when we use this imagination and start predicting and projecting thoughts about what may happen or may not happen, or that could happen, it's all imagination. And what kind of goes along with thoughts are feelings. So when we're projecting thoughts about the worst case scenario, something horrible that could happen, a lot of what ifs, right? Well, then there's feelings that go along with that, right? Usually bundled up in the form of worry and anxiety and fear, stress, all kind of bound up into one. And we usually kind of just say, hey, feeling a lot of fear. But if we see that it's always about something that doesn't exist. We're feeling fear. We're fearful of something that doesn't exist. And see that we're creating that fear with our own imagination. So at this point, it either triggers you, might have gotten triggered at the start when I said that fear is imagination. It either triggers you or it empowers you, it enlightens you, it makes you aware so that you can catch it. And like I said, don't just take it as some sort of information to then believe in. You have to see it for yourself. When you're in those states, when you're experiencing the fear, just follow the thought. Just look at the thought. What is the fear about? 99 times out of 100, it's about something that doesn't exist yet. It's always about something at a later point. It's never now. It's never not this. I can't speak. It's never about this present moment. Because in the present moment, there's no fear. The present moment, there's no fear. Fear is always about the future. And the future is unborn. And what's unborn doesn't exist right now. So we're in the present moment, but our attention is on thoughts about something that doesn't exist. This dream world of thought, which then we're cooking up all these thoughts, empowering these thoughts, believing them to be real. Then the feelings come. That's where it gets really juicy. Feels so real. And then now we're getting shaken and rattled and stressed and elevated and hyped up and panicking and terror and fear and stress and worry and anxiety, all these mixed kind of emotions and feelings, sensations, right? But if we see that we're just loss in the future, when we become aware of that, we can come back to the present moment. I've talked about this in a lot of different videos. Fastest way is just with your breath. Fastest way is just with your breath, because you can't breathe in the future and you can't breathe in the past. Your breathing is always in the present. So just by consciously, meaning putting all of your attention on your breath, what you're doing is you're bringing back your attention from dream world, imagination, bringing it back to your breath and just watching that breath with your awareness, with your attention, putting all your attention on the breath and becoming fully aware of the breath. And what you'll notice is when you're fully present, when you're fully aware of your breath, fully conscious of the breathing process, you'll find that you're fully present. And when you are fully present, you'll also be aware that you're not thinking. Because fear doesn't exist without thought. Right? And because you've guided your attention back to the present moment, now you're putting your awareness on what's real, which is the breath. Your breath is real. The present moment is real. So it's like you're just gently guiding it, saying, you're not serving me. you're just creating a lot of suffering when my attention is here on the unreal, something that doesn't exist, all dream world, dreamland, imagination. So can you just kindly come over here, attention, and focus on what's real? And you notice your fear just drops. Your fear disappears. And you're fully present. So it does take practice to do that. And it takes that just awareness. This video is raising your awareness, making you aware of when you, oh yeah, right? Check it out for yourself. Don't just believe me. Check it out for yourself. And when you're in those states of fear, when you're experiencing fear, when you're aware of fear, then now become aware of the thoughts that you're believing to be true. And then become aware that these thoughts are not here and now, that these thoughts are always about the future. And then become aware that the future has yet to come. And then become aware that what is yet to come does not exist. And then you become aware of the whole thing. So then when this happens next time, you can then see it. You can see it. You become aware. You'll become aware of it most likely after it happens, when you have this kind of state of fear, maybe for an hour, and you're like, I'm so fearful. You'll see, but then you'll get better and you'll start seeing it. Like, I got to use this like a word for it. Like, you'll start seeing it like in real time as it's happening. Right? But after you catch it, simply bring back your attention to your breath, and you'll notice that heart rate comes down, blood pressure comes down, body opens up, body relaxes, right? A lot of changes, right? A lot of changes. And you'll be able to snap yourself out of it faster and faster, so that you're experiencing less and less of that fear, which means that you're not lost in your imagination for nearly as long. And you come back to the present moment, what's real. And that's what we're really suffering from. We're not suffering from fear. We're suffering from our imagination. The fear is a byproduct of it. Right? You could also say we're not suffering from what's real. We're always suffering from what's not real. Right? So when you start seeing it like this, like I said, it's very powerful. It's very powerful in just that simple practice. And yes, it's very simple and very effective. It's like I said, as you put your awareness on what's real, the present moment. And the breath is that linkage, like anchors you to the present moment. It's like the portal to the present moment because your breath is always here. You don't need anything, right? What you need to do is you need to stop thinking about something that's going to happen or could happen or is not going to happen at a later point in time, and bring your attention back to reality, right? This stuff is unreal in the future. It doesn't exist. What doesn't exist is not real. What exists is this moment. This moment is real, right? If I put my attention on this, you'll find that when you're fully present, you're not thinking. You're not thinking. So then it cuts that cycle of thinking, fear, thinking. Like it just keeps going, right? It's just a loop. It's a loop. But then it's circles, right? Kind of like when you're actually physically lost in the woods, it's just circles. It's doing a circle. You're lost, right? So then you come back to the present moment and then the fear just drops. But it's just to make you aware that we're always afraid. We're always experiencing fear about the future. And what is the future? Can you experience the future? Have you ever experienced the future? Has anyone ever experienced the future? No to all those questions. Because it doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. The only thing real is the present moment. The past and the future doesn't exist. They only seem to exist when we're stuck in our memory, stuck in the past, or we're lost in our imagination, lost in future. They appear to be real, but really, they're not. They're not. And you discover that when you bring your attention back to what's real, back to the present moment. And you realize that there's no fear in the present moment. It's just there's no fear. The fear exists out here, right? In the dream. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you can, like I said, is be aware of it. The next kind of, experience of fear or cycle of fear that you experience. And hopefully you can see it for yourself, that your awareness is seeing it. And that you then can just use such a simple technique, 3 to 5 breaths, drag it out a little longer, 10 breaths. It's not going to take you that long, right? Even then, it's got to be a lot better than being stuck in this cycle of fear. So even if it takes 10 breaths, what you'll notice is breath 1, breath 2, and your fear is just dropping. Your fear is just dropping. Your attention is coming back and it's staying here. And when it wants to wander back, you got to be disciplined, guide it back to your breath. Because this kind of wandering, drifting away from the present moment, many of us, we've been practicing that our entire lives. We've been dreaming our entire life doing that. And it becomes very much like an addiction, where we're addicted to dreaming about nothing. It's not real. So when you bring your attention back to your breath, conscious breath, don't be surprised if after breath number 2 or 3, it starts wandering and it wants to kind of go back to, yeah, but what if? Yeah, exactly. What if? Right? But maybe, right? Bring it back. That's you. You training your attention basically to focus on what's real, to come back to the present moment. Because in the present moment, you're not suffering in the present moment. You suffer your imagination. You suffer your memory. You suffer past and future, and both are created by thoughts. And in the present moment, being fully conscious of your breath, there's no thinking. There's no thinking. So give it a shot. I'm sure it's going to help you. Probably get you out of that cycle of fear and start experience the good old present moment that's always here and now. See you in the next one.